Hello everyone, Pedro here with CineMIlled, and today I'm really excited because I get to bring you something that a lot of us Ronin 2 professional users have been wanting to do for a long time, which is power the Ronin 2 off of a block battery, just like we have here. And this is all made possible by the new REVOLT power system. That's right. So this little beautiful little box here that looks like a TB50, it allows you to power off of something like this Core SWX Renegade block battery. So now on our website, you will be able to order the REVOLT power system and all of its accessories. But not only that, you can also order yourself a Core SWX Renegade block battery just like you see here. So I want to start by giving you an overview of the REVOLT power adapter system. So it's a very smart solution. So basically it's designed to externally resemble a DJI TB50 battery, and as such will just slide right in to one of the two battery slots. All right, so on the back of the unit here, we have a on and off button, we have a 3-pin XLR, which is the power input, and then we have a status light. So this status light LED will blink in a variety of colors to give you a lot of important information. Once it's powered up, this will most likely go green, and then from then on forward it serves as a voltage indicator. It will go from green to yellow to orange and then to red as the voltage drops. So this is a great quick visual cue to give you a status of your power source. It can also give you a sort of an error message if you're over voltage. So if we flip it over, this is just the TB50 battery connector right here. And that's pretty much it. That's the power adapter. And so basically the only other thing you need is a 3-pin XLR power cable, and then plug that into the block battery, plug the other end into the power adapter, and just like that you are now powering your Ronin 2 off of a block battery source. So a powerful block battery source such as the SWX Renegade we see here will probably power your Ronin just about all day long. It depends on the camera and all this other stuff, right? What else is running off the Ronin power inputs. But you can expect a very long run time out of a block battery. So if you're on a crane like we have here behind me, at a concert all day long, instead of having to swap batteries every 2 hours or every hour and a half and coordinate with your PA and make sure batteries are on charge and all this sort of stuff, all that extra effort and time can be put to the wayside if you just plug it into a block battery and pretty much run it off this the entire day. So the second way you can power your Ronin 2 using the REVOLT power adapter is by using the AC3 power converter. So this will plug into either 110 or 240 AC power, right? Could be coming off a generator or it could be house power. And then it will convert that into DC. You use your 3-pin XLR, run that into the power adapter, and there you go. You are now powering your Ronin 2 indefinitely for as long as you have that house power or that AC power, right? So the third way to power your Ronin 2 using the REVOLT power system is with the DC3 converter. So this will take various DC power inputs, such as you might find an automotive car battery, right? In the case of armed car use or something like that. So a DC power source, and be able to feed that into the power adapter and through the same old XLR cable, power your Ronin 2 via a DC power source. So up until now, we've only had one option to power the Ronin 2, and that is the DJI TB50 battery. Now with the REVOLT power system and the power adapter, you can now extend that into 3 more options, right? Block battery, AC, and DC. So you can choose to get just the REVOLT power adapter alone. Everything is available a la carte, right? You can get the power adapter. We have XLR cables in different lengths if you don't already own one. We will also be offering the battery like I mentioned earlier. So you could one-stop shop at CineMIlled and get everything you need. So everything is available a la carte individually. So you can get the power adapter by itself, or if you're looking for the complete solution for any situation, you can buy what you see here, which is the Pro Bundle. The Pro Bundle comes in this beautiful Pelican case that's ready to travel with this custom cut foam, and it'll have the power adapter, it'll have the AC3 converter, it'll have the DC3 converter, it'll have your XLR cable, it'll have the DC cables, and everything you need to make this work. So that, in a nutshell, is the entire REVOLT power system for the Ronin 2. Let's talk about why you would want to purchase a REVOLT power adapter. What are the use cases? In what kind of situations that something like this would be worth its weight in gold? So very simply, the first use case that I can think of, the most common, is what we have here. I'll demonstrate here in a second, which is crane or jib use. Very often when a crane is being used, it might be being used in a live situation, which is the situation that I come across most frequently. You're at a festival, you're at a concert, the Ronin is at the end of a big crane or a jib, and it's going to be parked there all day long, 12, 14, 15 hours a day. And the last thing you want to be doing is be worrying about power dropping out on your head, on your Ronin 2. So in that situation, you could go off a block battery if that's what you have available to you. If house power is a little bit iffy, or if you're having difficulty getting somebody to give you an AC power drop so that you have nothing to worry about all day long by using the AC3, right? So if that's the case, you can go with the block battery. The block battery, this one here, is 777 watt hours. It will last you almost all day, depending on the camera situation and what else you have draining the battery. But the block battery is a good solution in a concert, but ultimately, if you can get them to give you AC power, then the AC power adapter converter here is the way to go. You plug that in, you are now, if you're powering your camera and your AKS off of the Ronin 2, everything is now powered off of AC power, meaning once you fire up in the morning, it will run with no battery changes on the camera, on nothing, all the way until the end of the day, 18 hours later. So that is probably the most blatant use case for something like this. The other one, of course, is inside of an arm car. It's, a very similar situation. They want the camera to be up as much as possible. And so you can, in that situation, use the DC3 and run it off DC power off of the vehicle. Even if you're not in an arm car, if you just have a black arm or a CineMIlled action arm, and you don't want to have to worry about power, and you just want to power it all day long, you can run it right in to the DC power on your vehicle, on your battery, the vehicle's battery itself, or on a separate DC power bank that you may have inside your camera car. Or simply, you can just throw one of these block batteries in your trunk or in the back seat footwell somewhere and run the XLR power cable to this, and this will last you way longer than those DJI TB50s. So even if you don't have the budget to get the AC3 or the DC3 for use in your camera car, just having the power adapter, a nice long XLR power cable, and a block battery power source can solve a lot of problems. Now, speaking of the block battery, the other use case for this is on a dolly. So since COVID, the Ronin 2 has been used on dollies as a way to keep the operator away from the actors in a separate room. So very frequently now we have Ronin 2s on dollies being used as a remote head, essentially. And so the block battery on the dolly, it's something that we've all seen there our entire career. So we can stab into that and have power for most of the day. The other use case is something like a rickshaw. So you can use a block battery on something like the Agito, for example. If you're not familiar, that is a purpose-built cinema RC car, very big. And that way it could power it all day. The Agito is frequently used in broadcast scenarios where the camera is up all day. You know, very similar to a crane. The Agito is like in front of the stage or running back and forth on the stage. And so it requires a lot of uptime, right? And it requires a lot of power for the camera, the head, all that stuff. So once again, the REVOLT power system in that scenario is a lifesaver. So you don't have to be worried about changing batteries, charging them, all that stuff. You might have noticed this crane here behind me. And so why don't we bring this crane out here and let me plug everything in and give you a quick look on how everything easily goes together, and you can get your Ronin 2 powered up from one of many different power sources. So let's see here. Let's just get this guy here. So take your REVOLT power adapter, and obviously this, all the inputs and the power button faces backward. And let's slide that guy in there until it clicks. Let's slide this out here. All right, so there you go. All right, now that we slid in the REVOLT into position, it's a great time to point out that I also have a DJI TB50 battery plugged into the second battery slot on the Ronin 2 power module. So what this does for us is, for whatever reason, your AC power gets kicked out, right? The generator goes down, someone unplugs your extension cord, your Ronin 2 does not miss a beat, right? Your Ronin 2 and anything that's being powered off of it still has power. Just like normal, when you have two Ronin 2, two DJI batteries here, they serve as a hot swap. So it's a continuous power source. So now that you're feeding one of the battery power sources from either AC, DC, or a block battery, it will seamlessly transition over to the DJI TB50 power source. So that is a great and a very important thing to point out, because as you know, the block battery may go down, so that gives you time to go grab another one. If you're using AC power, somebody, like I mentioned, somebody can kick out your power, somebody can unplug you by mistake, the generator can go down, all sorts of things can happen. And then this way, the camera doesn't go down and the operator can still control the gimbal while you get that sorted out. The same thing with the DC3, the REVOLT DC3. If you're in a camera car and the driver mistakenly turns the key off, or someone hits the switch in whatever kind of power distribution system you might have, you will never lose power to your Ronin 2. The camera will always stay up, because as long as you have the TB50 plugged into the other slot. So basically, long story short, the TB50 and the REVOLT work together, and they work seamlessly together. All right. So very simply, we got our XLR power cable right here. So we're going to plug one end into our block battery. All right, so there you have it. We have a block battery right here. We got the Core Renegade, and we got a XLR power cable, and then it's just running up the crane arm and right into the REVOLT, right into the input on the REVOLT. So all you have to do then is just press and hold the power button until it goes green. Now, there is a quick reference chart included with every REVOLT. I think now is a good time to hit pause real quick and talk about a few caveats with the REVOLT power system. The first of which is firmware. Now, of all the different firmwares on the Ronin 2 that are available, there is one specific firmware, version 1.3, that does not work with the REVOLT. That is just not compatible with the REVOLT. At some point, DJI made some changes on version 1.3 that changed the way it dealt with power. We don't need to get into specifics, but suffice to say that it makes this system not work. So the easy fix for this is choose any firmware that is not version 1.3. Luckily, version 1.3 is not a very popular version. DJI themselves recommend that you don't use version 1.3. And so I hope you don't have a problem with that, and that you can live on one of the other versions. It can be any other version. It is compatible with all other versions of the DJI of Ronin 2 firmware. The other caveat is you might plug into a power source and get a blinking red light. If that's the case, that is a clear sign that there is an over voltage condition. Now, according to what I've been told, this is very clearly a DJI, a Ronin 2 issue. Not every Ronin 2 has this issue. Not every block battery will present this issue. But mostly it will depend on your specific Ronin 2. You can take 5 or 10 Ronin 2s and it worked perfectly. And then on a certain one, for whatever reason, it is more sensitive to being at an over voltage. This is just on startup. So there are two solutions to this. One, you can power up on the battery first and then plug in the REVOLT, because the problem is only presents itself on startup. Once the Ronin 2 is powered up, it's not a problem anymore. So at that point, you can switch over to the REVOLT. The other solution is that REVOLT recently came out with something called the REVOLT BBR, which is the block battery regulator, right? So the REVOLT by itself does not regulate power, right? It just passes it through. So if you're having the situation where your specific Ronin 2 is presenting this over voltage error, with whatever the power source is, just the Ronin 2 just doesn't like the voltage it's seeing. The only way, other way around that is to get the REVOLT BBR, and that will regulate the power into something that all Ronins like, and there you go. So that is the permanent fix for this issue. Once again, this issue does not present itself for the majority of users in the majority of times. It is very random and it doesn't occur very often. All right, so let's get back to our REVOLT power system tour here. So right now we're powering off the block battery, so let's unplug that. So let's go to power source number 2, which would be AC. So let's pull out here the AC3. There you go. Very cool. All right, so this is the AC3. You can plug in 110 or 240, right? It's a bivolt system like most things are these days. So it can travel the world. So feed it AC power, and then you're going to have a DC power out here, which will run on the XLR. So let's plug our XLR right there, and then you have a power switch right there. So let's get our AC power source right here. So we are in the United States, so that'll be 110. So there you go, and then you will flip this up and you will get a green status light right there. And then here, let's take a look here. So it was blinking sort of white. I don't know if you can see it in there, white and bluish. And then all you're going to have to do is press and hold until it goes green. You just heard the Ronin boot up, and the Ronin's going to finish booting up right there. I'm going to hit pause on the motor so it doesn't freak out. But there you go. We are powered up. You can see the screen there on the Ronin. So once again, let me point this out, is I can now unplug the TB50 battery, and we are still powered up, as you can see, because we are now powering the Ronin 2 from AC power. This is such an exciting moment. So AC power all day long, essentially indefinite power. So there you go. Plug in a TB50, and if somebody unplugs you inadvertently, your Ronin 2 is still powered up seamlessly, right? Hot swappable, just like the original batteries. And then if all of a sudden the generator comes back up, boom, just remember to fire that back up again, and there you go. We are back on AC power, right? So that's it. That's basically how the AC3 works. Once again, you can buy all of this individually. If it's not in your budget to buy the DC, the Pro bundle, which is the DC3 and the AC3 and all the cables and everything together, you can first just get the power adapter so that you can run off block batteries. and then down the road you can buy the AC3. But personally, the AC3 is super valuable in my book. It's definitely something I would look into because, you know, like I was saying, all these broadcast situations where you're in front of a stage all day long, ultimately, as good as block batteries are, they're great for something like a dolly, rickshaw, or you know, like I mentioned, the Agito. But ultimately, if you're on a crane in front of a stage all day long and you're not going anywhere, what you really want is AC power. So the AC3, highly recommended. If you're doing a lot of vehicle work and you have other power sources to pull from, then the DC3 really comes in clutch. Ultimately, you can get just the REVOLT and you're ready to power off of any block battery just like you see here. All right, guys, well, that's pretty much it. I think you get the idea by now. You can now power your Ronin 2 all day through AC power or DC power or something like a block battery, ready to go. Once again, available on our website, a la carte, or with the Complete Pro bundle. And also, we are a core SWX dealer now. And so on our website, you will find this Renegade block battery as well as their famous Maverick block battery, and a lot of their other products are now available as well. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. I'm really excited now being able to add this capability into your toolbox. All right, guys, that's it for today, and I'll see you on the next one.